Welcome back to Along This Spiritual Journey. So, dating is an interview process. Becoming friends with people is an interview process. Waking up and deciding where you want to live is an interview process. You should take everything into consideration like an interview process because it's about taking the time to read over the details, doing the research, making sure that it fits what you desire, and then you apply and then you give energy and then you go into it knowing that this is something that you are interested in. What I've recognized is that most people accept situations as if they have to, because if it's presented so well and fully packaged, why not accept it as is? And that's nice if it's a gift. But if it comes with stipulations and all these arrangements and disclaimers, you should probably do a little bit more interviewing and asking questions of self. Yes, it's good to ask questions of the outside and the external world, but you should also be asking these questions of self, especially in the dating process. That's one of the ones that I recognize that most people forget to really apply the pressure. They think if they meet someone, they're just supposed to sit still and be cute and hope for the best. And really, in all reality, you're supposed to actually sit there and figure out if this person's going to meet what you need as far as being a partner or a friend that you want to continue to grow in a path of romantic whatever connection with, right? That's the purpose of dating. Most people rush in wanting the relationship. The relationship is to be established after the dating process, which is about talking and getting to know each other. Now, most people, they have stipulations, they have 90-day rules and 6-month rules and all this. And even myself, I tend to watch things for a year. I still let things progress, but I still observe things for that first year because that first year really is the interview process still. Within that first month, you're talking, you're getting to know someone, you're seeing if they initiate, you initiate, you're seeing if they're trying to get to know you and ask you questions, and if they're actually intrigued by you or if they just want companionship and just want you around and want to take your energy. And that is important to establish in that first 1 to 3 months, right? That's what the 90-day rules is about. After that, it's about learning if that person actually is who they are, just having fun, how they interact with the world, how they interact with others, if they have other ambitions and goals outside of you in the relationship, because most people get these relationships as the goal and it becomes their only focus. And then when they lose it, everything falls apart, which is why it's important to, again, understanding how you interview and take care of the process of weeding things out that don't belong to you. So when you see that an energy is not vibing with you, it doesn't belong to you. It should go away. If it vibes with you, just like these colors are all blended together, this is one cohesive purple, it's still singular strands of that purple to make it this one color. So you have to make sure that if you want contrast, that you're observing where the contrast is, if you're creating it yourself, or if it already exists, so that you're not going in blindsided and saying, well, I didn't see that coming. Because it happens. A lot of us have our own outlook and view on how we want something to turn out. And instead of actually interviewing the process and vetting it properly, we end up in situations we don't want to be in. Trust me, I am not speaking from a place of arrogance. I'm speaking from a place of experience. I've definitely rushed into situations myself, not fully processing the information emotionally. There's one thing to process emotions logically, but to process emotions emotionally means you're going to have to feel all the feels and let yourself feel it without trying to identify it or label it as something that's good or bad. It simply is. And when you understand what that energy is, you work with it and then you can apply it to your logic, which helps you then walk out into the world and how you then meet others and date and interact with them, right? And then how you decide what type of jobs you want to take on and duties and other things. But that's what like a good career counselor is for. They listen to what you like to do, they listen to what you're good at, and then they try to find something that can apply to both or all of the things that at least will bring you some joy and functionality in that process of whatever you're doing, right? It's the same thing in relationships. It's the same thing in any other relationships we make with friends. Again, you don't want just to have friends who are just there to fill the space. You want friends who are going to bring depth, that are going to ask questions. You're going to interview them. Are you a good friend? Are you going to be there, a ride or die if something go down like life threatening? I don't need you to do stuff for me criminally, but if that's what you want to be as a ride or die, great. But as far as life or death, yes, I need to know if you were going to be a good friend in that aspect, because a lot of people really will push their friends right in front of the bus to save themselves. And I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in danger to save someone, but if I'm able and capable, I will try my best at all costs to help them, right? So this is the same thing in relationships with yourself, even when you step into relationships with others. You have to know how to, I talked about it before, parentify yourself. You have to know how to talk to that inner soul that also has an inner child. Talk to this ego that used to be a child and let them commiserate, right? Because sometimes that emotional world and that logical world don't blend, and they try to decipher things separately when they're meant to do it together and congruently. So it's paying attention to how you appreciate the energies of interviewing. To me, interviewing is simply asking questions. That's all it is. I'm asking questions to see if it fits. That's what an interview is to me. Most people think of just work, but I do the same thing with food. I interview my food. Like, you sound good, you sound good, you sound good. Why should I eat you today? And then I choose based on my interviewing skills and process of deduction and reasoning and what I want and how I feel and go with that. Sometimes it's just the easy answer because my body already knows. But it's because I'm paying attention to the energy ahead of time and I'm allowing myself to ask questions. So again, as you keep interviewing and asking questions of yourself, then you can ask questions of others because you've put yourself through the process. You're not just asking these questions blindly, because that's what a lot of people do, especially when it comes to dating. They'll listen to advice and then go ask questions blindly, but they don't know what they're looking for. They don't understand the sauce, right? They understand that this thing tastes better, but I don't know why because they didn't make the ingredients or anything. So it's important to understand that you are genuinely paying attention to how you want to interact with other energies. You know what I mean when it comes to self. So just make sure that you're allowing yourself the proper time to ask questions. You're allowing yourself the proper time to give yourself an answer, but also don't mule over it too long where you stop listening and you then forget that you're meant to be asking yourself these questions first. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I watch a lot of people ask other people questions and have expectations of others, but they tend to forget to do it to themselves and get the real answers. So go in, self reflect, ask questions, interview every process, and when you feel that it's right, give it the job. Apply it as it must. I hope that makes sense. Anywho, love ya.